Hi, second graders, and welcome back to another day of listening and learning with Miss Catrone. Okay, so I just want to refresh your memory a little bit on the story we read last week. And it was about the Murphy family, and they had emigrated from Ireland because there was a hard time finding jobs. The families were not making a lot of money, and then there was this potato blight, and that just meant that the specific crop, which a lot of people ate, potatoes, a lot of people farmed it and made money, and a lot of people ate it for their food, was not growing. So the potatoes were not growing. People were going hungry, and that really pushed them to emigrate out of Ireland and then come to the United States and settle there and immigrate to New York City. And we learned a little bit about how people who emigrate from the same place, in this case Ireland, helped each other out, because remember that Fiona's uncle was helping that man find a job because they knew each other in Ireland, and so they were going to help each other in the United States, kind of like a team. Now, I'm going to share my screen and show you guys two immigration centers that we've been learning about. So let me get that all queued up for you guys. Not that one. Let me try again. I think it's going to be this one. Nope, not that either. Give me one second. Okay, so while I'm trying to figure this out, let me tell you a little bit about the two immigration centers. So we have Ellis Island, which is in New York City, and that's the first picture I'm going to show you. And people immigrate, if you're coming from Europe, to Ellis Island, and usually they settle in New York City, which is the couple families that we've learned about. We learned about a family that came from Italy and a family that came from Ireland, and both of those groups of people emigrated through Ellis Island. So I just need to find, oh lordy, I do not know why this isn't working for me. Let's see. There we go. There we have it. All right, I'm gonna try this. Third time's gonna be a charm. Alrighty. Okay, so here we should have, there we go. We should have, thank you for being patient with me, Ellis Island, and this is where if you came from Europe, you came through this immigration center, and this is where they checked if you were healthy, if you had a job, if you had the correct paperwork that said you could leave your country and settle in the United States of America. So this is what Ellis Island looked like. And then if you remember, when they saw the Statue of Liberty, they knew that they had made it. And this next picture I'm going to show you is in San Francisco, and this is Angel Island, and this is the immigration center on the west coast of the United States. So if you came from Asia, this is where you would come through. And again, they would do the same kind of things. Make sure you're healthy, make sure you have money, and a reason to be in this country. So today we're going to be learning actually about a family who's going to emigrate from China. And we're going to be learning a little bit about what causes this family to leave China, what pushes them out of China and forces them or encourages them to settle or immigrate into the United States. So without further ado, let's get started. One day in 1858, Lin Wen hurried down the steep stairway and out onto the street that cut through the neighborhood in San Francisco, California. Lin Wen's neighborhood in San Francisco was called Chinatown because it was the area of town where many immigrants from China settled. Kind of learned a little bit about that last week, how a group of people settled in the country together, and in the same kind of part in town, they would give that name. Like you might have heard of Little Italy is a place in New York City. Like other immigrant groups, the Chinese came to America for many reasons. Gold Mountain, or Gamsan, as the Chinese called it, was one of the main reasons or pull factors the Chinese immigrated to the United States. After word reached China of the discovery of gold in the mountains of California, Chinese people were soon crossing the Pacific Ocean in large numbers, hoping to make their fortune. People claimed there was a whole mountain made of gold gleaming in the sun. You just chip away pieces of the mountain and soon you are as rich as the Emperor of China. Do you think there was actually a mountain made of gold in California? No, probably not. Gold Mountain was a myth. Who can tell me what a myth is? We learned about a lot of Greek myths, and there's stories that were used to explain things in nature, if you remember. Alrighty. All right, so here we have Lin Wen and his father sailing into San Francisco, and they can see Angel Island. Lin Wen and his father traveled to America, hoping to make a better life for themselves and their family. In China, their family, along with many other Chinese families, were very poor. It was hard for Lin Wen's father to support his family. He decided to take Lin Wen to America to search for gold. They had come on a great steamship, leaving behind Lin Wen's mother, his two sisters, and his grandmother in China. On the journey to the United States, Lin Wen's father had told him, "We will make enough money to bring over the rest of the family too, or we will take the money home and live as rich men." All right, so remember at the beginning of the story, I asked you to listen for push and pull factors. What pushed them out of China and what pulled them to the United States? So if we're thinking Lin Wen's father was having a hard time making money, it says here that they were very poor and it was hard for Lin Wen's father to support his family. So that kind of pushed them out of China. And there was rumors of this gold mountain in California. So Lin Wen's father made a decision. We're going to go to California. We're going to make a lot of money. And either we're going to be able to bring your mother, your sisters, and your grandmother here, or we're going to go back to China as rich men. Those are their options. Alrighty. Here we have European Americans talking about Lin Wen and his father. Since coming through the immigration center on Angel Island, Lin Wen and his father had discovered that life in the United States was not as easy as they had expected it to be. Chinese immigrants like Lin Wen and his father experienced hostility from Americans in California. What does that mean that Lin Wen and his father experienced hostility? To be hostile is to be kind of angry and mean. So it seems like a lot of Americans treated them very meanly and they were angry towards them. Some Americans believed Chinese immigrants would take all of their jobs because they were willing to work for lower wages or pay. Sometimes jobs paying lower wages were all the Chinese could get because some Americans at that time would not hire them to work in jobs that paid better. So they came and they could only make a little bit of money because people wouldn't hire them to do work that they got paid more money. Let's see. The few jobs Chinese immigrants were allowed to do were often hard and dangerous, such as helping to build the railroad that crossed the continent and would link the eastern and western sections of the United States. Remember, that was called the Transcontinental Railroad. Some Irish immigrants also helped build that historic railroad, so it was really dangerous work. Who did we hear about who emigrated from Ireland and worked on that railroad? Remember Fiona? I think her brother's name was Sean, maybe not, but their dad was working on the railroad. Other Chinese immigrants took jobs working long, exhausting, or extremely tiring hours in woolen mills, washing dishes in restaurant kitchens, or working in laundries where the clothes were washed in large wooden kettles of boiling water. These jobs required the workers to start in the early morning and to leave late at night. Many immigrants, not just Chinese immigrants, had to work long, exhausting hours. Can't imagine having to work such long hours and still not making a lot of money. That must have made them very frustrated. Americans who were hostile to the Chinese did not like how the Chinese had very different traditions and customs from Americans. European immigrants that were settled into their new American life had trouble accepting immigrants who didn't come from their homelands in Europe. But not all Americans were hostile to the Chinese immigrants. Some realized how difficult a new life in America could be for the newcomers. Many Americans were welcoming and kind to the different immigrants in the United States. So some people were mean and they didn't like that their language was different, the way that the food that they ate, the holidays they celebrated, they didn't like that that was different. And they were mean to them. But some Americans were kind. Alrighty. Just want to make sure. There we go. Okay, so here we have Lin Wen walking through Chinatown. Lin Wen and his father never got as far as the gold mines or the mountains, and they quickly learned that it was not as easy to find gold as they had heard. They ended up in Chinatown, where Lin Wen's father worked in a laundry, and Lin Wen was lucky enough to work in a grocery store selling traditional Chinese foods. Lin Wen was on his way to work now, but he had a stop to make first. Winding his way through the streets, he followed a side street to a small door. After passing through it, he climbed some stairs and entered a room. Ooh, what do you think the stop he needs to make is? What do we see here? I don't know what picture clues we're getting. Maybe he's a potter. Maybe he makes vases. I see a lot of vases. I don't know what this tool is. No one would have guessed from the street that this rundown building could hold such a beautiful room. Hanging on the walls were red silk cloths bearing gold-colored Chinese characters or writing symbols. On the floors were plush silk cushions, and the air was fragrant with the sweet smell of incense wood. When burned, filled the place with smells like flowers. An old Chinese man nodded a welcome. He asked, "You here to honor or show respect for the memory of your grandfather?" "Yes, please," Lin Wen answered. Remembering a person's ancestors was, and still is, an important Chinese belief. We owe our being here to those who came before us. Lin Wen's father had taught him. One way to show our respect is to say special prayers and burn incense in their memory. Sticks of incense are made from a material that burns slowly, and when it burns, it creates this sweet smell that's very nice. It's almost like a perfume or a nice candle. Lin Wen's grandfather had died long before Lin Wen and his father had come to America, but they continued to honor him. Lin Wen bought a thin stick of incense from the old man, lit the end of it with a match, and said a few prayers. Afterwards, he thanked the old man and continued on with his work. Alrighty. Let's see what we have here. All right, here we have Mr. Wong, Lin Wen's father, and Lin Wen at the market. The market was crowded with shoppers buying ducks, chickens, vegetables, rice, and other produce for traditional Chinese recipes. The owner of the market, Mr. Wong, had known Lin Wen's family back in China. After arriving in San Francisco, Lin Wen and his father had gone to see their old friend, Mr. Wong, who said, "I can hire you or your son to work in my store." Lin Wen's father had answered, "This is an act of great kindness, my friend." Oh, I love that they're showing kindness. "Let my son work with you. Another friend has offered us a job at his laundry, and I will take that job because it is more demanding. And that way my son will have some time to study and learn." I think they're probably pretty grateful that he's offering them a job. At the time, Lin Wen had said nothing. That night, he quietly asked his father, "Father, should I not respect you as the head of our family? Yet you will not let me take seriously the responsibilities or the things I'm counted on to do for our family, and you have taught me are mine. I should take the job in the laundry. I am young and I am strong. It will be easy for me to work the long hours there. You should work in the grocery." Why did Lin Wen's father want his son to work at the grocery store rather than the laundry? Well, they mentioned that working in the laundry would have been a lot more hours and a lot harder work, and he wanted his son to have time to study still. But Lin Wen wanted to take that job because he wanted his father to be able to rest. And he said, because I'm young, the long hours and hard work won't be hard for me. I like that they're both thinking and caring about each other. Lin Wen's father said, Lin Wen, the only thing as important as respecting your elders is getting an education. If you work in the laundry, you will not have time to study and educate yourself. This is also one of your responsibilities. I have made my decision, but your offer to work in the laundry means a great deal to me. I hope that someday you will have enough money so that we can bring your family here. But even if we never make a lot of money, I know that I am a rich man, for I have something more valuable than gold, a son of whom I'm very proud. So he says he's rich because he's so proud of it. He has a son that he's so proud of. Let me make sure it's maybe zoomed in a little bit too much. There we go. Alrighty, here we have Lin Wen talking to a customer. Remember, he works at the grocery store. Remembering this moment, Lin Wen smiled as he was selling spices to a customer. She noticed Lin Wen's smile. Why are you so happy today? She asked, handing him her money. This market is not exactly Gold Mountain, you know. Perhaps it is, Lin Wen answered, and he smiled as he handed her back her change. Alrighty, guys, that is the end of our story today. So we're going to jump right in to our word work today. So our word work is the word exhausting. My turn, exhausting. Your turn. Good job. In the read aloud, you heard, other Chinese immigrants took jobs working long, exhausting hours in woolen mills, washing dishes in restaurant kitchens, or working in laundries. The word exhausting means extremely tiring. So if I run 9 miles, I might say that's exhausting. That's extremely tiring. The quiz was exhausting, Shirley exclaimed. It was too long. Have you guys ever had to do something or experience maybe a really long day, or something that was extremely tiring or exhausting? Today, I want you to try to use that word in a sentence along in your houses with your families. I want you to try to use the word exhausting. Maybe somebody asks you to clean up all your toys and you're like, oh, that is exhausting or extremely tiring. Alrighty, guys, I'm just gonna pause my recording super quick to pull up your Google form. Alrighty, guys. Okay, so here is your Google form for today. Our story today was titled Gold Mountain. Listen to the read aloud for Domain 11, Lesson 5, that's right now, and complete the form. All right, here we have your name. What country did our characters immigrate from? Was it Italy, Ireland, or China? All right, next question. What pushed the family out of China? They didn't have enough food, there was war in their country, or they were sick. Ooh, I don't see the right answer here. Let's add a new one. Okay, so what pushed the family out of China? They didn't have enough food, there was war in their country, or they didn't have enough money. What pushed them out of China? Lastly, what pulled them to America? They could make money here. There were lots of games here. They had good beaches. Last one. What immigration center did they come through? Did they come through Angel Island, Ellis Island, or Syracuse? Alrighty, guys, try your best on this Google form. I know you're going to do wonderful. I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I did. I got a little bit sunburned, but it was really fun. Hope you guys got outside and enjoyed the sunshine. I can't wait to have a great week with you guys. We're going to learn a lot. We will talk soon. Bye, guys.